Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Southern Santa Piper. I'm your host, Kenny, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about one of the very first pipes I ever restored, and that is this particular Stanwell right here. It has got some beautiful, beautiful grain. If you all can see that well, the rim on this is simply stunning. I'm smoking in this today some of my Father Dempsey, which is now in the jar, which has become one of my new favorite blends, definitely in a regular rotation. I'm going to need a pound of this. I try to get pounds or close to pounds of the tobaccos I really enjoy because I smoke them most frequently. Even though I rotate my tobaccos pretty heavy, I like having about a pound. I like the way a pound ages, and I like how, especially when I keep them in canisters, and all my canisters are silicone seals on top and fit well, or they're jarred like this. This is the Star of the East flake. That's a big tin, and these large, what size is this? 2 quarts. These 2-quart mason jars will fit an 8-ounce of flake pretty well. But Father Dempsey is just a typical ribbon cut. And again, just a lovely tobacco. I always highly recommend whenever you see a tobacco you like and on sale, buy it. Because you don't know when it's going to go on sale again. And unfortunately, a lot of tobaccos are seeming to get harder and harder to find. I've been trying to find one that my buddy Kane has been recommending to me for a long time. And that is Rat Ray's Exotic Passion. Which I believe is labeled here as Exotic Passion, or it used to be labeled as Exotic Orange. But Europe, with their laws, you know, they've had to change the labeling. I think like Bob's Chocolate Flake is just like Bob's Flake now. I think anything that refers to a flavor on the tobacco, you've got to remove the name of that. Like they think kids are going to smoke it because it's orange or chocolate. I don't think there's a lot of kids going out buying pipe tobacco. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. It's another just perfect, beautiful day here in north central Florida. Mostly blue skies, a little bit of clouds. Mid-70s, doesn't get much better than this. This was one of the first pipes I picked to restore, and when I got this pipe, it was ratty. I decided when I wanted to try my hand at restoring pipes because I had seen all the guys in the pipe groups doing it, and I had never tried it before. I think I'm going to buy cheap pipes. I'm going to buy pipes that I'm going to probably want to smoke and pipes that I'm attracted to, but I'm going to buy pipes sub $30, and I think this one is about 23 bucks when I found it, but it looked horrid. If I can find some before pictures that I've don't know if they're still on my Google Drive or not. But if I still have those, I'll post them up on my Southern Santa Piper Facebook page as pictures when I put the link to this video up there. Put it in the comments if I can find the pictures, just so you all can see what it looked like. And it was not in good shape. It was really dull. I did not get the color on this pipe I was hoping for, but I'm pleased with the color. It was my first time, and this grain is just off the charts. Cool. I just love this grain on this pipe. Have I mentioned I love the grain on this pipe? But I used some cordovan colored leather dye. And one of my very first jobs was working at a shoe store, Woodfield Mall. I mentioned it before, Jarman Shoes. I'm trying to think of the old guy who's the manager there. I believe his name was Kurt. Old-time shoe guy, knew everything about shoes. He's actually pretty passionate about it. Good guy. I liked Kurt quite a bit. But I remember cordovan, that and like oxblood were very similar in color. They were kind of usually a deep burgundy, kind of purplish, almost black. So in my mind, I'm thinking cordovan is going to look a lot like, not new, because new Dunhills, they look black with purplish underneath of the polish. But to me, I'm thinking like a Dunhill Shellbriar, especially an aged Dunhill Shellbriar look, sort of that purplishly black that when the pipes are getting buffed, you start seeing on the ridges and stuff with the blast. Kind of purples and reds. So that's what I was kind of hoping for. But instead, and it looked that way when I put it on, and then I flamed it, and I wiped it down, and I put another coat on and flamed it, and took it off and buffed the pipe, and it becomes almost this kind of dark reddish brown, but it's a beautiful color, and I'm not unhappy with the way that it looks. I left a little bit of carbon in this bowl, like I explained yesterday. Probably part's got the thickest amount. Try not to take them all the way down. Just make sure that the draft hole is clear so they can be smoked. Don't know how well I showed them yesterday. Let's see if I can got this yesterday from Merchant Service. Just a Zippo. Nothing fancy. They have them made by Zippo, and they're laser engraved. Just concerned that maybe like a silk screen or something. It's not. It's laser engraved. Won't wear off. Looks good. I really like that logo. I'm hoping that they start using that on their boxes as well. And it's maybe like a logo on their pipes or something. I think that would be really cool. Oh, this is a good time to bring up Zippos. I've heard some recent talk of some guys not really caring for Zippos that much on pipes. I kind of get it because of the flavors of the lighter fluid, which is mostly kerosene. Some people may think that, and a lot of guys, they just torch the living bejesus out of their tobacco. If you look, I'm not pulling hard. I'm barely getting the top of it. I'm not pulling deep into the bowl. And I know sometimes it probably looks like I am, especially when I'm down some, but I'm not. I'm not pulling deep into the bowl. If I'm pulling deep into the bowl, it means my draw is too tight. And I should probably have repacked that bowl. But scorching your tobaccos is never a good thing. That's why you don't use things like a torch lighter. I use this torch lighter primarily when I'm refinishing pipes out here. I always, if I'm doing the finish, I do it outside. I don't do it inside. It's just much safer for me to do it. I've got an old wooden house. At least 148 years old now. Just moved here though in 1952. About 2 years ago, over on Lake Weir, which is south of here, we go to a few restaurants right on Lake Weir. On one side of the lake was the famous gangster Mal Barker, the house that they were up when they got shot and killed. And that house was moved across the lake on barges. Not a big lake, but we moved from one side of the lake to the other. And that was a pretty cool thing. When I lived up north, I would see some older homes, especially Victorians. This is a Victorian farmhouse that needed a ton of work when we bought it. And started to look more like a Victorian. New roof, new windows, ripped off the crappy siding they had on, had the house repainted. Had this, all the deck boards replaced on this porch. Now I'm going to have it all rescreened and redone. We're going to put a front white porch on. It's all a process. We try not to get in debt for anything. We save, we save, we save. Then when we have money, we'll do our job. That'd be my advice to all of you. Try not to get in debt. Easier said than done. But if you can't afford something, don't buy it. Wait till you have the money for it. I know for some of y'all, you may need necessities and that, but then I think you may need to kind of rethink things. If you don't have enough money for necessities, maybe if you don't have enough for necessities, it's time to rethink your career. Life should not be just about working to pay your bills. Life is short. You guys need to enjoy it. Really do. Everyone does. This Father Dempsey is just... I gotta slow down. I'm actually being a chimney on it. It's so good. Just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tobacco. Coffee, even iced coffee, always seems to be one of the most perfect companions for me for pipe tobacco. That, strong tea, and a good whiskey. Scotch. I'm a Scotch drinker. I'll drink bourbon, but I like Scotch. Good Scotch. Balvenie or Macallan primarily. And my old wine I used to use when I used to live in South Florida and would visit my favorite hangout place after work, which was called the world famous Cigar Bar. They had two locations, in both in Fort Myers, but one South Fort Myers, almost Estero. It's where my daughter, it's actually just right around the corner from where my daughter's hair salon is. The world famous Cigar Bar at Gold Town Center. Loved it there. At the time, they had a managing partner, Dino, and my bartender, Jen. Just good people. I'd stop in a lot after work. At the time, I smoked cigars and I smoked cigarettes. I'd go in, get a stick, order myself a nice Scotch, and kick back for a few hours and just enjoy the conversations and the people. Usually I would have one or two, but I like good scotch, and I always experiment with scotches I haven't had, or maybe things that are sometimes out of my price point for a whole bottle. But that's the nice thing about going to a well-stocked bars, that even if you're spending, I think the most I've ever spent on a glass of scotch is about $75, which may seem really pricey to some of y'all, but not on a bottle of scotch that may typically be well out of your price range, $500-600 or more scotch. I typically, on premium scotch, I won't spend more than $200 on a bottle, even though on a few occasions I have. I try to find a nice drinkable scotch in that $100 range or so. A bottle of scotch will last my wife and I a year. We're not big drinkers. We like a nice scotch every now and then. Mostly when I'm smoking my pipe, I'm drinking iced coffee or hot coffee. And I like a good beer on occasion as well. A good craft beer. I like things with flavor. I think that's why I started really getting into these English tobaccos. The flavors are just exceptional. I don't think they're everyone's cup of tea. But I think, like many things, you don't know till you've tried them and you've experienced it. Don't take my word for anything. Just because I like something does not mean you're going to like it at all. Try things. Direct experience. That's what gnosis is. Knowledge. Knowledge, but it's knowledge through experience, not knowledge from a book. And that experience of experiencing pipe tobaccos for a first time, it's the only way you're really going to know what. I can tell you what Frogmore's like, but if you've never smoked it, I can tell you it's a lot like Northwoods. But till you've had Northwoods and Frogmore, preferably during the same day, so that your taste buds aren't playing tricks on you, is that you've got no way of knowing if what I'm saying is true or not. And again, just because my taste buds taste similarities doesn't mean yours will. So get out there, try tobaccos, try a pipe. If you've never restored a pipe before, buy one. Try your, what do you got to lose? Worst case scenario, you could probably flip it for the same amount of money that you paid for it. And maybe another guy who can do a better job if you kind of hacked it will buy it, pick it up, and make it into a lovely smoking pipe. I mean, who knows how many hands this pipe has passed through. I wish there was almost like a Carfax in pipes. Who did this one belong to originally? And then after that, how many owners has this had? We're all just temporary guardians for our pipes anyways. You know, sometimes I look at my pipes and I worry. I worry what's going to happen to them when I'm not here. And hopefully that is much later than sooner. But if my daughter, if you're watching this, Allie, eventually I will convert our grandson Jordan into be a pipe night. Jordan. Where's Jordan? It's perfect. I don't know what thing. Must be thinking. Jordan must be thinking of me. Jordan is my daughter's girlfriend. Lovely young lady. But back to Allie. Allie, if you're watching this, Griffin will one day be a pipe smoker. Maybe not a heavy pipe smoker, but I'm going to get him into liking pipes, but not till he's over 18. And even if it's just something he does on the holidays to think about his papu, I'd like for him to have my pipe collection. If he doesn't, then I'm going to convert Brenton, my son, into a pipe smoker. I tried to when he was here. Didn't seem very interested. He's a former cigarette smoker, and now he vapes. And vaping is what helped me quit cigarettes. But I wish he had stopped vaping. Trying to pipe, I think it's a little bit more distinguished. He's a great car salesman. usually number one or number two in his dealership. I'm going to give it a plug. Brent Spear over at Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. He's my wife's eldest son, and I adopted him. Love him just as much as if he was my natural son. He never had an active dad in his life, and him and I are practically two peas in a pod. I don't think there is a human on this earth probably as close to me in personality traits and in things we like as much as Brenton. It's weird. It's really weird. I keep telling my wife, are you sure we didn't hook up in high school? Or is there something you're not telling me about? But Brenton was born when my wife was 21, so impossible. Me and my wife didn't know each other. I've known my wife since I was 14. We did not have a child together. We did not have relationships when we were young. I was 14, guys. I know in today's world that's probably different. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I think that's going to be it for us today, guys. I just wanted to share this pipe and get you guys all used to the idea of restoring a pipe, of taking that step of bringing something back to life that maybe would be discarded. There's a lot of old memories with this pipe. I haven't even corrected one of the negative features of this because I think it gives some character. I'll fix it eventually, but you can see that this was totally green and totally chewed up. I got most of the chatter out of here with a little bit of heat. I'll eventually fix that with some carbon and crazy glue. But it doesn't affect its smokability for me right now. It kind of adds to its character. But that is it for Southern Santa Piper. I appreciate you all joining me. I really enjoy doing this. Please hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying it. Hit that notification so you know when I'm doing new videos, even though lately, well, most of the time it's kind of daily. Share it with your friends if you've got friends who are pipe smokers or simply people who want to hear a 50-year-old man rant on various topics. So God knows I drift off of pipes more frequently than I talk about pipes. But that's all I got for today, guys. Thank you so much again for joining me today. Have a wonderful and blessed day today. Take care.